Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Pandora Hearts Episode 2. So, yeah, last time we left off on Pandora Hearts, shit was starting to go down. And only in the first episode, too. Um, so for those of you who didn't watch the first one, I definitely suggest going back and watching it, but just as a note, I have seen the first few episodes of this before, but it's been like a decade, so I don't remember much of anything. I remember little like bits and pieces of like character designs and stuff. um, so last time we were introduced to our main character, who is this rich kid named Oz. He's got some like noble heritage to him. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be. His father has some kind of high ranking or something. Um, but he's kind of spoiled and kind of a brat. And he spends his days with his little sister and his servant, uh, whose name is, God, what is his name? I haven't gotten quite used to these names yet. I can't remember his name. But he hangs out with his sister and his servant. They're just dorking around and being goofballs. And he clearly seems to care for his servant despite like kind of treating him poorly sometimes. Um, he does seem to care for him, and even wants him in his ceremony, um, which I don't even remember what that was about. I don't even remember what the ceremony was being held for. Um, but during preparations and everything, some hooded figures attacked the. Again, what would you call it? It's like the grounds. I'll just call it that. They attacked the grounds, and they possessed, like one of them possessed the servant's body. And there was a flash forward at the very beginning of the first episode that showed Oz like being taken in by these chains or whatnot. And it was explained in the first episode. There was this kind of legend about these chains of the abyss. So it's like, that's clearly what's going on there. But why? How? What's the deal with that? I guess maybe we'll find out this episode. Why is Oz being taken by the chains of the abyss? Why are these hooded figures after him and have even like taken over his friend and everything, his servant friend? Um, a lot of questions. Another big one though is, who is the girl in the pocket watch? Because Oz found a pocket watch while exploring. He ended up finding this underground grave. On the gravestone was a pocket watch, and he took it and was like transported, like at least mentally, to this other world where this girl was, and she was psychotic and crazy and evil. And it's like, is she the main bad guy, or what's going on here? I'm not quite sure, but she was talking about wanting to kill him and everything, and also about him just being there, and I guess her not being lonely anymore or something like that. So it's like, it's kind of giving me mixed signals. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't know quite what her deal is yet, but I assume we're gonna find out. Um, I don't know really what to expect going forward with this series. Like, what are we supposed to take from this so far? It seems to have some kind of fantasy, mythological element almost. Not quite to the level of like, oh, mythical creatures or anything, but more to the level of this like high fantasy um mythos kind of thing going on. So I'm definitely interested in that. Otherwise, I guess it could kind of seem like a drama in terms of genre. I don't know. We'll just have to watch more, I guess. But um, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we continue to enjoy it and continue to react to it. Because right now it's just unclear. So that being said, we're just going to get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so this episode was definitely just meant to be like kind of a direct continuation off the first. It seems like these first two episodes were almost like a two-parter in a way. I don't know if they were originally released together or not, but um, they definitely seem to go directly together. Um, so this continues from where the last left off and all. We're getting on with Oz's coming of age ceremony. He meets with this girl who we saw before. I don't remember her name though. And she seems to have I don't know if he's supposed to be a servant to her or whatnot. I don't know the relationship there exactly, but she has someone with her, and they seem very mysterious. They also appeared at the very end of this episode, and they're talking about rescuing Oz. So they definitely know what's going on here with this cult, and they're trying to stop it or at least protect Oz. There's also a third member who we only see at the very end. So I wonder what his deal is going to be. They talked about like what I assumed was her family name, but I guess maybe it's more of an organization or something. I don't know. So I assume we'll find out more about that too. Um, but during the ceremony, so the cultists come out. They seem to freeze time right as the clock strikes midnight. And then they start to enact their plan. Gil, who's possessed by someone or something named Dadam or Dodam or something like that, um, catches Oz and stabs him in the chest. Like at first, I was thinking it was like the center of the chest, but then it's like you saw the wound later on, and it's kind of like the upper chest, upper side of the chest. Um, but still, that would hurt like fucking hell to be stabbed there. Honestly, he was very like calm, all things considered, when for being stabbed in the chest like that. Like you would have thought like at 15 he'd still like be screaming or something from the pain of it and the fear, but I don't know. But as they're trying to enact their mission, the cultists, I mean, uh, this girl comes in. The girl comes in, and she is referred to by the cultists as the Bee Rabbit. Um, and we see that she can turn into the scythe wielding rabbit from the opening. I was wondering who that the rabbit would end up being. I somehow did not put together that it was her. I guess I'm not saying it's like super obvious, but I don't know. It's just it never clicked with me that it could be her. So she's claiming ownership of Oz, which is kind of weird in and of itself. And she does work to protect him for a time, but ends up leaving and leaving him to be taken by the chains of abyss. Gil, his involvement, like at first he's just possessed and everything, but eventually he does break free because Dadam, Dodam, whatever it is, their like control over him weakens to the point where it breaks. Um, he ends up seeing one of the people in the cloaks, one of the cultists, and recognizes him. So the only thing I can think of is that it's got to be the father, right? Especially since Gil tried to protect him from Oz, who was running at him with the sword. So I have to believe that it's someone who would be seen as important, someone who would be seen as like, oh, you shouldn't kill this person. So yeah, the father, that would make sense. I mean, obviously we don't know for sure, but that's my guess as of now. The question is, why would the father be doing this? Now, the only kind of hint we get as to why this is going on is they're saying that Oz's very existence is a crime. And as I said in the reaction, this could account for a couple different things. Does that is that referring to the fact that he is a member of the Basarius family? Is it referring to his connection to one of his ancestors? Or is it more along the lines of, you know, he has some kind of ability locked inside of him that this cult or whatever just does not want used against them or something, so they see this as a crime, they see this as something wrong that they have to purge. And again, I brought up the comparison to Nico Robin in One Piece. For those who may not know, who may not watch One Piece, Nico Robin is one of the only people in the world who can read the ancient language of the world, especially what's written on stuff like these ancient stone tablets called poneglyphs. Reading these, however, can lead to finding out about this lost history of the world that was specifically hidden away and, like, historical revisionism, all that shit, by the world government. So if she can read that and reveal the lost history, then it would hurt the world government. So they declared her existence, her very life, a crime. And it's really the only reason she's been wanted for so long. And so I'm thinking it's probably the same here with this series. Like, maybe Oz has some kind of ability that makes him a threat to either the people in control or to some specific cult. If it is the people in control and they're like pretending to be cultists or some weird shit like that, um, like, what could his power be that could endanger them? It's like we don't have enough information at all yet. So I'm interested to find out exactly where this is going with all of that. Um, at the end, though, we saw the two again, the girl and her. Again, I don't know whether to call him a servant or not. It wasn't really clear. But we see them in the hall, the same hall that the coming of age ceremony was going on in, the same hall that Oz was being attacked in. Um, and it's hard to say like when this was taking place because it's like the girl and her servant dude. I'm just gonna call him that for now, because I don't know his name offhand and I don't know his position to her, but they don't look any older or anything, not much younger either. So it's like if it is in the past or in the future of where Oz was attacked, then it's got to be like the close past or future. It can't be anything like too distant. Um, but if it's, but I don't know, because my first guess is the future. I'm just thinking like it's after the fact and all. But there's a lot of questions that would go with that and everything. But there's a lot of questions that would go if it's in the past too. Because they're talking about saving Oz, but they're not there at the same time Oz is in danger. So, of course, you automatically think it's got to be the past. They're talking about saving him in the future, right? But it's hard to say with this series so far because it seems like there's magic and shit. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. um, but it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting so far, and I'm interested to see where it goes. Um, these first two episodes were definitely setting the stage. It's hard to say how this is all going to happen. We know Oz is going to be saved, and apparently it's going to be by these three. Um, but we don't know how he's going to be saved, and if he's going to end up being saved from the abyss, and if so, how does that happen? I don't know. But I'm definitely interested to see more. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Pandora Hearts. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.